Hi guys, it's Becky, and I got my Bead Box Extras order from Sam's Bead Box, so I have a lot more things that I can do with this Viva Magenta kit now. I got some pipe chain, which will be for a different design at a different date, but I've got some flat mesh, which you guys know I love flat mesh. They had bead mixes with these are just 11O seed beads and 8O seed beads, and they had both sizes available, which is fantastic. And I'm probably going to be using the 11Os for what I'm going to be making today. I also have delicas there. Like these are 11O delicas that were available as add-ons. And then they've got some 8O delicas, which are fantastic. This is new for me, and so like I'm really excited about that. But my idea of what I could do with some of these things today was making a Barbenheimer bracelet, which if you're not familiar with the whole Barbenheimer scenario, the whole situation with that is there were two completely different movies that were being released on the same day. It was last weekend. And in the whole run up leading up to this, people just love that dichotomy of this like really colorful, very stylized, super fun movie next to this very serious and very um, artfully done biopic. And both of those being released on the same day. And especially the subject matter being like one is just a toy, and the toy world that they live in versus like, you know, people who were like creating the atomic bomb. So there have been memes. There have been a lot of memes. And there have been so many t-shirt designs, just so many t-shirts, you guys. But I think it's really fun, especially since like black and white and pink are such an iconic like thing, to do a Barbenheimer bracelet, something that has one strand that's black and white, because some of these scenes in the Oppenheimer film are shot in black and white. Not all of them, but some of them are. So we'll have a black and white strand, and we will have a pink strand, and it'll just be a 2-strand bracelet that is celebrating Barbenheimer. So for this, I am going to use these probably a little bit later in the design. I'm going to probably use these delicas maybe. We're going to use this flat mesh, which has like a burgundy one and this vibrant like fuchsia color. And I've got some flat mesh in my stash, which this is like more of a real dark gray color. But I thought the three of them together, part of this bracelet could be these 3 flat meshes braided with each other, because I think that that will look fantastic for these 3 colors. So we'll get these, and we'll have that be part of our whole project. But let's pick out some beads from the bead box for our strands. Oh, also, I'm going to string one of these on this pink tourmaline beading wire from Soft Flex, and the other one will be on this white quartz colorway beading wire. So we've got that. So I think here we've got some black and silver. We have the moonstone. I think these are definitely going to be part of this bracelet for our black and white. And let's do silver. Silver should definitely be part of this. On this end, do I want to add the leaves? I don't know, because my idea is to have 2 strands on one half and the other half of it be with the flat mesh. So we're not going to have a ton of room for a lot of beads in this jewelry design. Maybe one of these leaf beads, the grape leaves. Yeah, we can have that be like a centerpiece in the design. And then we can just fill in spaces as we go through it. I may not actually end up using the ADOs. All right, so we've got our black and white beads, and then I want just pink, pink, pink. Let's grab these Art Deco beads. Pink, pink, pink. And then we've got some of these beads that were in the check glass bead mix. And I think these will be perfect for bracelet design. Just to have these little guys filling in some spaces. Maybe a couple of these rondelle shapes, these English cuts. Yeah, so we've got those. And what happened to, there was a strand of beads in the thing that had, they're in here. Okay, because I like to do sometimes a dangle on a little chain on some of my bracelets because it helps it stay better. So I'm gonna get these, at least one of these ones that have like the pink and the black in it, and I'm gonna have that be my dangle bead. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'll have that be a dangle, and I want a big bit of it between them on the opposite side of where the clasp is. I want this guy. We're gonna do some fun stuff with this guy and some wire, I think, for that. So awesome. All right, let me get the things that I'm not using out of the way. Whoop. Let me get some craft wire maybe for the, it's like shaped like Saturn, but it's also got a rose on it. And the finish on it reflects a lot of different colors. So it's going to be really pretty between all of those. All right, I'm going to make my drop real quick so I can set that aside until later. And I'm going to just use a ball head pin for that. And I'm going to grab some round nose pliers. Where are you going? There we go. Just bending that over. I'm going to clip a little bit right here. That's about how much I want to cut off, so that I can just do a simple loop with my round nose pliers. For my very simple drop. Okay, so drop is out of the way. Let's get to stringing. Actually, no, let's do our, before we string, let's do our center between the strands guy here. And I'm just gonna spill out some of the 11O seed beads here. And where's the, you know what? Let's just use some of this magenta craft wire. I was going to use silver, but I don't have any within reach, and I didn't plan this out great. It's 22 gauge. I'm going to take probably more than I need, but about 8 or 9 inches. For this, let's make sure it fits through the hole. Lovely, lovely, lovely. All right. Now I'm going to find the center part of this, and I'm going to bend this over this way and make myself a loop. I'm going to make it a wrapped loop, so I'm going to go all the way around. And I dropped the bead so that it doesn't get in the way while I'm making this loop, but I am going to be leaving it on for the other loop. Okay, now that that has been wrapped around a couple of times on this side, I'm going to put my bead back on. So I've got a loop on that end, and I'm going to do another loop on this end. Hold on, I should be bending that the other way, shouldn't I? That way. Okay. Or not, I don't know. Then I'm gonna go around again. This time making myself a little wrapped loop. And I've got one going one way, and then I want it to go the opposite way. So one that goes this way, and then the other one that goes that way. So I've got a loop on both ends of this bead. And now I'm just going to string on some of these seed beads on one end of these, and we're just going in no particular order. Just pull out of the bead mix onto this 22 gauge wire. And we will have blacks and whites and pinks, and it will tie it together, both strands and both ends. That's my intention with this, is that we tie together that, because like pink and black and white is such an iconic look. I love it. This is a great bead mix. There's like a whole bunch of different kinds of beads in here. Okay, I'm gonna carefully, because these are all glass, I'm gonna pinch this right here and bend this around to this side. So it's like extra halo. And I am going to pinch this side right here where the bead is and bend my wire around my loop a couple of times. And that's going to be a real messy wrap. I'm just going to be okay with that. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. pick up some beads, see if it fits. I didn't realize that that was going to fit so perfectly. This side, I don't know if it's gonna give me the same result where it's just whatever I picked up fits perfectly. I might have to add more beads or take some beads away when I do it. We'll find out. We will find out. Pinching this lip here while I bend this around, and it looks like I might have a little too much, so I'm taking one of my beads off and maybe 2 more beads. Okay, that fits really well. All right, so I'm pinching this right here so that I can wrap around this loop. And I'm going to come back down to echo the messy wraps on the other side. And now that this one is in place, oh, maybe you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay with it being like this. All right. It looks like I probably could have left those 2 beads on there. That's fine. Everything is fine. All right, I'm gonna cut off my excess and tuck my end in. And now I have the part that I can attach my beading wire to, and I can start stringing. So that's going to be the central part of this. Let's get our beads put away. Well, actually, yeah. Where you going, buddy? So I'm thinking I'm going to want about maybe 4 inches of beading, maybe 3.5, something like that. I've usually got like about a 7.5 inch wrist. So and I can adjust my braid with my flat mesh to whatever length I need to as I go. So let's start with the pink side. Pinks, pinks, pinks. And you know what? I am actually going to pull this out and maybe do a little bit of these. No, I want pink with those. Where's my pink ones? Here we go. They're more of a fuchsia-y kind of a color, but I think they'll go great as little separators, as little spacers for my pink side. And so let's pull out our pink tourmaline. And I'm gonna want a crimp bead. Where are my magical crimpers? So I've got some crimp beads here for this. All right, I think that's probably more than enough. Like that would be enough for like a full bracelet rather than just half a bracelet. That's okay, because I could make 2 of these if I wanted to. All right, I'm just gonna line these up a little bit. Actually, why don't I string it first so I can see how long it is before I attach it to my bracelet. Yeah, because I want this to be kind of the center of it. So let's string these up, and then we can add these guys to the edges to increase the length or decrease the length. So we're going to start at the middle and work our way out. This is the smart way to do this. And these delicas are fantastic spacers. Look at that. And I have the little, you know, the little springs. I forget what they're called. I have some of those, but I am not sure where they are. But that would be really useful right now so that I don't lose my beading while I'm working from both ends. All right. This was a great check glass bead mix, by the way, that came with this. This is very pink. Like, I don't know if you guys had the same experience I had where, like, you thought you hated pink because it was like the girly color, but what you really hated wasn't actually that color, but all the connotations that went with it, like all of the weird associations. And I think that that might actually be long enough. Yeah, I think that'll be long enough because, like, again, I can adjust the length of the silver silk portion as much as I want to and as much as I need to in order for this to work. So let me get part of this crimped on here onto this center bead guy. And I'm gonna need a closure too on the other end. And I thought I had brought some lobster clasps over here with me, but apparently I put those away because that's a thing I do now, is I put things away so that they're not cluttering up my workspace. It's totally weird. It's ruining my flow. Except now I can actually like find the things that I want to work with. Well, most of the things that I want to work with, except for those little end clippies. I have a whole bunch of them. They're in a tool thing where some of my tools are. Okay, and that's gonna go through there. Just gonna scooch this little buddy up here. So we've got ourselves a little loop. And magic crimper this guy so that it is connected. I'm gonna hold this in my mouth while I crimp. Hold on. That did not round that at all because I couldn't see what I was doing. You know what? This is, I messed up this crimping. Crimping usually works better. Whoop! And see, that's why you wanna do those things. I'm gonna go. I found it. This is what I'm gonna be using to hold on to my strands while I am doing things. So I'm gonna just stick that guy right here. And this way I don't have to worry about this flying away and then doing my work while I am attaching it to this guy. That's right. I also grabbed a lobster clasp so that I can actually attach it to some things. No, don't cut the craft wire, Becky. Cut the beading wire. There we go. Cutting the correct loop is like a really important part of jewelry making. Let me tell you. All right. Crimp bead. See, this crimping is going to go a lot better once I'm not worried so much about my beads flying hither and thither. All right. So I haven't actually seen either of the films that I was talking about today. I am going to go see the Barbie movie this weekend with some family. I'm not an opening weekend kind of gal, you know? I just don't like crowds. So I usually wait a little bit to go and see new things. Oh, here we go. It's coming out of there. I like having the end of my wire go through a couple of beads. It just keeps it a little bit neater. I almost said needier, but that's not the right words for that. All right, so now I can crimp this properly. I can get a nice little ravioli, and then the crimper just folds the sharp edges down as you rotate it. And that makes it smooth and not likely to rub up against your wrist and cause irritation. All right, so this is the first strand. Let's go ahead and get this attached to a jump ring that I can then attach my lobster clasp to. And then I can set it aside. Where am I? I just had the jump rings. They were right here. Ah, I did not put them away. They were right. They were underneath my my spool of wire. All right, and these are just some oval jump rings, which I think are really fun because the connection point is not at the point where you get most of the stress on it, and they come already closed, so I don't have to close it up before I attach my bracelet to it. Where are you going? Don't be silly. So I'm going to have the clasp attached to this. And then we'll also have the second strand attached to this same jump ring and to this central bit here. Why did my jump ring fall off? Because I was busy moving my wire around somewhere else. All right, let's go through a few of these beads. Just a couple, not all of them. And now I can pull this and tighten my loop. All right, I still have some movement in my bracelet. It's important. Okay, and we're crimped on that side. All right, now we got our Barbie strand done. Let's put together our Oppenheimer strand. Yeah, we're gonna have this. Or actually, you know what? Wait, no. No. No, I don't think I want these in here. I want these guys. And the hole on these is actually in the middle, so they're going to be more like rondelli. Yes. And then these are going to go in between them. And let me pull out my white cord. Go. I'm having fun. We're doing Barbenheimer things. But yeah, I am not a fan of crowds, and my ex was, and so he would always be like, oh, we gotta go and see the new movie, like right when it aired and stuff like that. And I'm gonna build out on one side and then go back and take this off and build out from the other. So I'm going to want some of these. And should I use these as spacers? I haven't decided on that yet. I know I did the pink one as spacers. Maybe black, because this is so... No, these will be my spacers. I'm using these as my spacers, not the delicas. All right. This is going to add enough black to the color palette, to my monochrome palette. Okay, so that one, and then one of these, this one, and one of these. I like that. It's about halfway, I think. Let me put my bead stopper on the other end and build out from here with the same number of moonstones. I've got 5 of them on this side. So let's put 5 on the other side and see where that leaves us lengthwise. Actually, I think there might have been more of these. Let's grab a couple more. Because if it's the right length, then I don't have to add more beads. But if it's not, then we're going to need to add some more. Even though like the bracelet itself is like asymmetrical, I want symmetry on this component and this component. Okay. Honestly, I love this. These beads are fantastic. They go together so well. All right. Is it the same length? No, not quite. Actually, maybe I will do the ends of this. Let me add one more of these black and silver bead on each end. It's like almost the right length. Actually, it might be the right length. No, 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 almost. Maybe if I cap it off with a delica on each end, because it's, if I add more of the moonstones, it will increase the length too much. But these delicas are, yes, perfect. That gives it exactly the right length for this so that they will match. Good job, me. Let's put these back. All right. Move these beads out of the way and put a bead stopper on so that I can attach this to both ends of these. So that I can attach this end. Oh, I need a crimp bead first. I'm going to attach this end to my fancy bead that I've fancied up even more. You know what, with the beads out of the way, I'm just going to go ahead and crimp here with the beads out of the way. Oop, oop, oop. Is my loop the same length? There we go, that'll do. All right, got that crimped. Now I'm going to move these beads up here and let's go through. Is the hole on these tiny beads big enough for both? Nope, only for one. That's okay because I can clip it. It's definitely big enough to go through the delica. Okay. So strand 1 is connected, strand 2 is connected. Now let's get this end crimped onto this jump ring. That is going to drape very nicely, I think. And I can wear this while I am going to see the movie. I think it's gonna be great. All right, so if you have seen the movie, leave me a comment. Tell me if you liked it. Don't leave any spoilers though, because I have not seen it yet. Actually, if you've seen either of these, either the Oppenheimer or the Barbie movie, let me know, because I'd be interested in your opinions. I don't know if you guys did this to your Barbies, but like I'm really interested in the weird Barbie, because I gave my Barbies haircuts and magic marker tattoos and like just, yeah. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Here we go. Let's crimp this guy. And then we can start playing with the flat mesh. All right. There so this will be one part of the bracelet, that side, and then on the other side, I'm going to have our braided flat mesh. So let's set that there and get a ribbon end. I'm going to use ribbon ends for these instead of the flat mesh crimp, because since I'm using 3 strands of the flat mesh, I'm not sure if they would all fit in there very nicely or very easily. Actually, you know what? It might. It might fit. But no, I've got these crimp ends here, or these ribbon ends. So I'm going to use them because they are a little bit wider than the flat mesh crimps. So they've got a wider mouth at the beginning of getting stuff into there too. So they're just a little bit wider, and I think that they will go. Also, they're handy and in reach, and I don't know. I'd have to go look through my findings where they're at for my flat mesh to do that. Like, I've got some Tiara cast crimp ends too that I don't think the opening is big enough to fit 3 strands of flat mesh in. So I'm just going to overlap these 3 strands. And get them into this ribbon end. And use my pliers to close the, oh, the ribbon end also has my finger. Let go of me. Man, am I ever going to be able to make jewelry without personal injury? And actually, these are not quite wide enough. I've got bits of flat mesh coming out. So let's start over. Maybe I should be folding these over. I usually fold them over when I put them in things. All right, I'm getting all my little bits off of the end of here. I'm going to stack these one on top of another. And I'm going to use these pliers to kind of squish them flat a little bit. No, they're already flat. They're flat mesh, Becky. And now I'm going to fold them over. Give this a squish to get these ends in. Now let's get okay, yeah, that looks and feels a lot better, and I didn't grab my finger with it this time. All right, ribbon end. I gotta get my flat mesh strands separated, and one of these is very, very long. It is the this very dark gray, like pewtery kind of color. It's not quite black, and I love that about it. It's just very subtle. All right, so I've got these two, so I'm going to bring this black one, well, not black, gray, up between the two of these. I'm going to take the burgundy between the two of those. Yeah, that's a good start to this. And I'm just going to hold these in their shape while I'm doing this so they don't twist, because I want this to still have like a skinny profile. I don't want the flat mesh to twist while I'm doing this. Okay. also don't want it to be too tight because then we won't get any movement, but look how great this looks. I love these 3 colors braided together. This is fantastic. All right, and I'm not sure how much of this to braid. Let me get this attached to this bit here so that I can measure it on my wrist and see how long it needs to be and where I can stop it so that this fits right. You know what works really well for this is tape. All right, I'm going to open up a jump ring. Sorry, I'm so twitchy. There's a fly buzzing around my head, which, like, we had gotten rid of most of the flies in our house, and now we've got one more. It just came into our house today because my dog likes to do this thing where she's like, I need to go outside right now. And then you let her outside, and then she knocks on the door. She knocks with her paw, by the way. She just paws at the door and she's like, hey. And then she stands there wagging her tail, waiting for you to come outside with her. And you're like, I got a meeting. I have like work to do. Somebody's got to pay for your food. And like, and so she does that. And so the door ends up being open for like, you know, long enough for a fly to be like, aha, I'm going to go see if there's anything in there. Oh, I think I may have braided this at the exact right part without even realizing. So I am going to clip this here and then fold these guys over and get them into another ribbon end. Oh my gosh. I'm very happy with the way this is turning out. It's turning out a lot like what I wanted it to be. Oh my gosh, my braid just went away. That's fine. I know how to braid. I can do that again. All right. It's because I had to let go of it to go get some stuff. I should have had the stuff ready to go. All right, braiding. Keeping it flat. Making sure we all end up in the same spot. All right. Now, I'm gonna bend you guys over, flatten you out a little bit, bend it over, crimp that down, and stick a ribbon end on you. Okay, just use my fingers to close it, using some pliers to give it a better closure. And now I need to get my a chain. I'm just going to make a little chain with some of these what are they called? Jump rings. And attach my little dangle to the end of that. But yeah, tape works really great for moving these out of the way. You know what else works great? For cleaning off your bead mat. This thing. It's just a scoop, a bead scoop. But yeah, I'll use some tape and clean out my edge later. Right now we've got that cleaned up a little bit more. So far, so good. Kind of loving it. And you know what? It's a little atom bomby. It's fine. All right, let's get the jump rings connected. Can Put 2 of these on this one ring that I just opened. It's closed. Let's open this guy. Put on that ring. And another one. I think that might be enough chain to, okay, I'm gonna do a couple more links because, you know, then I can have a nice dangle. Maybe that's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, let's get this guy on here. And attach my chain to this side. And attach a clasp to the other side. And I think we are done. All right, let's do a fit check. This is why I like having a dangle, is so that I have something to hold on to with my finger while I use my other hand to open and close my clasp. All right. Now I have a Barbenheimer bracelet, and it doesn't matter how it rotates, it's gonna look good no matter which way it rotates on my wrist. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed making this. If you did make along with me, that's great. If not, maybe you can make your own version. All right, thanks for hanging. Bye.